He arrives to the sound that makes nations stand straighter. Boots on marble, boots striking stone. The courthouse floor is polished to a mirror, and each precise step draws a ribbon of light up the gleaming rifle he carries at port. Sun funnels through high windows, a hard white blade that remembers another place, mist over white headstones beyond the arches, flags snapping above the tomb when the morning first breaks. Flags snapping, faint. A thin breath of autumn rides in on a draft when the big doors swing closed. Cool Virginia air tangled with the faint sweetness of leaves. The room smells of polished wood and paper, and woven through it, the small, honest thread of gun oil. He does not look left or right. Crisp wool hugs his shoulders. Brass catches sunlight like a promise. The blue and gold of the uniform is a shout in a sea of gray suits. The spectators' whispers break like surf and then recoil from his silence, murmurs dipping. Someone clears a throat. A bailiff's hand hesitates on a hip. A reporter's pen halts above a pad. On the bench, the judge peers over the rims of his glasses, the seal of the Republic frowning down from the paneled wall behind him. The guard's cadence does not belong to this room, but it bends the room anyway. He halts with clean finality at the rail. The rifle gleams as if holding a slice of sun stolen from Arlington. For an instant, the reflection on the bayonet paints white marble across the varnished floor, and you can almost see a velvet rope trembling in a tourist's hand, the rough braid biting skin as the crowd holds its breath on sacred stone. A lawyer in a charcoal suit lets a smirk slip. "Costume drama," he says just under his breath, too loud to be an accident. His papers rustle, papers whispering. The men at the defense table don't meet the sentinel's eyes. Their gazes skate off like stones thrown wrong. The veteran in the second row leans forward, fingers tightening on a cane polished by years. He does not speak. He doesn't have to. The room knows the shape of that silence. The gavel drops once. Gavel crack. "Order," the judge says, voice smooth as oak, not unkind, not warm. His eyes narrow against the light sliding along the rifle's barrel. This is a courtroom, not a parade ground. The guard says nothing. The steel of his posture is a verdict standing on two legs. He was summoned to testify about a night when men mocked sacred ground. He brings the ground with him. His breath is measured, shoulders square. He carries himself like a prayer that refuses to end. The bailiff shifts. Leather creaks. Leather creaking. There are rules about weapons past this threshold, rules about where uniforms belong. There are rules everywhere until they meet something older. The defense lawyer can't help himself. "Your Honor," he says, palms out, genial poison in his tone, "this display prejudices the room. He's here to sway, not testify." The veteran speaks, low and flinty. "That uniform's not a display. It's an oath." The judge flicks a glance toward the voice, then back to the figure at the rail. Dust floats in the sun, turning the air to a field you could march across. The guard's shadow climbs the wall behind him until it almost touches the great seal above the bench, bayonet aligned with the eagle's beak, accident, geometry, or something that remembers how to aim. The judge leans forward. "Name for the record." Silence answers. It is not refusal, it is reverence. The guard's jaw tightens a fraction. In his eyes there is a reflection of white stone and 1,000 names you don't know. Outside, the season holds its breath. Somewhere far away at Arlington, the wind pushes across the marble and pulls a whisper from the grass. Wind in memory. The lawyer steps closer than the moment allows. "You see? Theater." The veteran's cane ticks once under his boot. Cane click. "Respect." The judge's mouth thins. "Bailiff." The bailiff steps forward, but not too far. He feels it, the way the room has tilted toward the figure at the rail, as if a gravity source has been wheeled in. The boy in the back row sits up straighter. The woman with the reporter's badge lowers her pen. The smell of gun oil seems sharper, cleaner, a reminder of hands that clean and polish so the world can breathe easy. The guard lifts the rifle with one small, perfect motion and sets it upright, stock to floor, muzzle crowned by sun. Rifle snapping. The sound isn't loud, but it is total. It makes the people in the gallery pull breath at the same instant. Collective inhale. He doesn't grip it as a threat. He anchors it like a flag. The judge's gavel cracks again. Gavel crack. You will not create a disturbance in my court. The guard's silence grows denser. Polished marble under his boots might as well be the black mat. The aisle might as well be the plaza. Every pane of glass seems to hold a memory of headstones like bright bones in mist. He is a sentinel who never speaks unless he has to, and when he does it is because the dead need a voice. The courtroom is not the tomb, but he is still the guard. The line between them is only distance, not duty. Sir, the defense murmurs, if he's allowed to stand there like that, the jury won't hear facts. They'll hear myth. The veteran's voice cuts without rising. Sometimes myth is fact wearing a uniform. The judge looks down, then up, weighing law against what the law rests on. He can smell the oil, the starched wool, the ghost of cool morning that came in when the door opened. He can feel in his knuckles the urge to rap the gavel again, and in his chest the sense that maybe this is bigger than a docket. He sets the gavel aside. Soldier, he says, and the word lands heavy, deliberate, undoing the sneer the lawyer tried to lace into it. The judge's eyes are sharp now, the room poised between breach and benediction. He leans in. The voice is a blade. Why are you armed in my courtroom? Midday sun spills through the courthouse windows, washing the chamber in harsh white. The guard stands motionless at the rail, rifle anchored upright, bayonet catching the light like a shard of lightning. Rifle gleaming. His uniform is immaculate, creased wool pressed so sharp it looks cut from stone. Around him the silence burns hotter than the sunlight. The judge's words still hang in the air. Why are you armed in my courtroom? The question presses on the walls, presses on the hearts of every soul in the gallery. The guard does not answer. His silence is heavier than testimony, more damning than defiance. A defense attorney chuckles, seizing the tension like a scavenger. Your Honor, he says, waving a sheaf of papers, this is theater, pure dramatics. He's here to intimidate, not to inform. Papers rustling. The crowd murmurs, low and uneasy. Crowd murmurs. A mother hushes her boy in the gallery, running her hand over the rough fabric of his sweater as he stares wide-eyed at the sentinel. The smell of hot dust drifts down from the vents, mixing with the faint tang of gun oil. The veteran in the second row shifts forward in his wheelchair, cane balanced across his lap. His voice cuts the whispers like gravel under steel. That uniform is not theater, it's an oath. Gasps ripple through the benches. The attorney spins toward him, sneer flashing. Oath or costume, sir, this is still a courtroom. The guard moves, one sudden pivot, boots slamming into marble, boot slam echoing. He brings the rifle to chest in a single clean snap. Rifle snapping. The sound detonates in the silence, echoing against the vaulted ceiling until even the judge flinches. Then he slams the butt of the rifle onto the floor. Rifle butt booming. The impact roars through the chamber, rattling the wooden pews, rolling under every shoe. Spectators gasp, some rising to their feet in shock. The echo lingers like thunder that refuses to fade. The boy in the gallery whispers, trembling, Mama, he made the whole room shake. His mother presses a finger to her lips, whispering back, Shh, this is bigger than us. The judge's gavel cracks once, twice, gavel pounding. Order! Order in this court! His voice wavers, not in weakness but in awe. His eyes never leave the sentinel's shadow stretching up the wall behind him. Legend is born in that instant. The guard planted in full uniform, bayonet blazing in sunlight, rifle butt welded to marble, shadow fusing with the great seal of the Republic above the judge's bench. A soldier who did not need words to make a nation's silence obey. The attorney's sneer falters. His hands shake the papers. Your Honor, this is intimidation. The veteran's voice growls, firm, final. No, this is remembrance. The crowd leans into the weight of those words. Reverence swells, rising against arrogance like a tide. The judge grips the edge of his bench, eyes locked on the sentinel, torn between law and something older than law. The silence returns, thicker now, vibrating in every chest. And then the gavel lowers slowly. The judge speaks, low and sharp. One more disruption, and I will hold you in contempt. The warning cracks through the chamber, a blade drawn, a threat hanging over the sentinel's head. The guard does not move. His chest rises once, deep, unbroken. The threat lingers. The crowd waits, and the storm holds its breath. Afternoon shadows creep through the courthouse windows, carving long bars of light across the floor like prison stripes. Dust drifts lazily in the beams, glowing gold against the dark wood. The guard's silhouette stretches up the wall, swallowing the great seal above the judge's bench until the eagle itself seems to perch on his bayonet. Rifle gleaming in light. The judge's warning still hums in the air. One more disruption, and I will hold you in contempt. The words hang heavy, like a sword suspended over the sentinel's head. The crowd holds its breath, knowing even silence could snap that thread. The defense attorney seizes the moment, stepping forward, his grin sour and triumphant. See, Your Honor, he doesn't speak because he can't. He's just a uniform, a statue. His papers flutter in his hand. A nervous tick he tries to pass as confidence. Papers fluttering. The veteran in the second row leans on his cane, eyes blazing. Statues don't bleed, counselor. Soldiers do. His words draw a murmur from the gallery, half gasp, half prayer. Crowd murmuring. The judge slams the gavel once. Gavel crack. Enough! His eyes pierce the guard, sharp and searching. Soldier, you were summoned to testify, not to stand there mute. If you do not answer this court, I will find you in contempt. The guard breathes once, deep, steady. The polished wool of his uniform creaks faintly as his shoulders rise. He pivots, boots striking marble, boots pounding. His rifle snaps clean across his chest, rifle snapping. And then, at last, the silence breaks. I am not here, the guard says, voice low, heavy as thunder about to roll, to defend myself. I am here to defend them. Gasps slice the room open. Crowd gasps. The judge stiffens. The attorneys freeze. Even the bailiff's hand slips from his holster, stilled by the weight of that single sentence. The guard takes one step forward. Boot slam echoing. His shadow grows larger, darker, fused to the inscription, carved into his soul long before this day. The tomb is not a monument, it is a covenant. Every step I take is for men whose names are gone. Every hour I stand is for families who never got to say goodbye. The courtroom is deathly still. The boy in the gallery leans forward, his small hands gripping the polished rail, eyes wide with awe. His mother holds him close, whispering, "Listen, baby, this is what forever sounds like." The defense. Attorney sputters, his face pale. Objection. This is not testimony. This is... The veteran slams his cane down, cane cracking. This is truth. His shout echoes under the vaulted ceiling, joining the guard's words until the chamber itself seems to vibrate with memory. The guard raises his rifle, not in threat, but in reverence. The bayonet catches the fading sun through the high windows, turning it into fire. His voice rises again, each word a hammer. I carry steel, not for war, but for watch. I keep silence, not because I am afraid, but because the dead cannot speak. Legend sears itself into the moment. The sentinel in full uniform, bayonet blazing with borrowed sunlight, shadow welded to the seal of the Republic, voice reverberating like judgment itself. The judge's jaw tightens. His gavel hovers, undecided. Duty to law wars with the truth pounding in his chest. And then he lowers it gently, eyes narrowing. Careful, soldier. One more word out of turn, and I will hold you in contempt. The threat lingers, sharp as a blade, ready to fall. The guard's silence returns, but the crowd knows now. His voice has been heard, and it cannot be unspoken. The room trembles, caught between reverence and retribution. Artificial lights hum overhead, filling the courtroom with a sterile glow. Outside, twilight bleeds violet across the sky, but in here the air feels sharp, tense, waiting. The guard stands anchored at the rail, his rifle gleaming under the lamps, bayonet burning silver. His shadow looms large on the wall, fused with the eagle above the judge's bench. The defense attorney, emboldened by the judge's warning, paces like a hyena. His voice cuts through the silence, loud, bitter. Your Honor, we're wasting time. He parades around in costume, spouting poetry about ghosts. The tomb he worships is nothing but a stone box. It holds no power. Gasps ripple through the gallery. Crowd gasps. A mother pulls her son closer, the boy's small fingers gripping the rough wooden bench. Veterans rise halfway from their seats, faces hard, jaws clenched. The veteran in the wheelchair shakes, fury trembling his cane. Stone box? He mutters, voice ragged. Stone box? The judge lifts his gavel, pounding once. Gavel crack. Order! But order is slipping. The attorney sneers toward the guard. If silence is all you've got, soldier, then maybe it's time we stop pretending this ritual matters. The guard moves. One step, then another. Boots slamming marble. The sound cracks like thunder, echoing up the columns, vibrating under every shoe. The bayonet catches the flood of light and sets the air ablaze. The crowd rises in one breath, hearts hammering. He halts dead center, shadows stretching across the floor, swallowing the defense table whole. His chest swells and then the silence shatters. Not a stone! The roar detonates, a cannon blast rolling through the chamber. Guards roar echoing. The lamps seem to tremble. The benches quake. The echo barrels down the hallways of the courthouse like judgment-breaking chains. The defense attorney stumbles back, face ashen. But the guard is not finished. He slams his boot to the floor. Boot slam echoing. His voice rises, stronger, final, carved from thunder. It is a promise, sealed in blood, kept in silence, defended in death. The crowd erupts, not in cheers but in cries of awe, gasps, prayers whispered through trembling lips. Veterans salute sharply, tears burning down their faces. The boy in the gallery whispers, "Mama, he's louder than the judge." His mother answers, voice breaking, "No, baby, he's louder than time." Legend crystallizes in that instant. The sentinel in full uniform, bayonet blazing, shadow welded to the nation's seal, voice roaring with the weight of the unknown. The courtroom, a place of law, has become a cathedral of sacrifice. The judge rises to his feet. His gavel hangs unused as silence falls back heavy as stone. His eyes burn into the guards, unreadable. The weight of law stands against the roar of sacrifice, and the room freezes, waiting for the verdict. Night presses outside, the courthouse lamps glowing amber in the dark, but inside the chamber is still ablaze with tension. The guard stands at the center, rifle anchored to the marble, bayonet gleaming like a star forged from steel. His last roar still trembles in the rafters, not a stone, a promise. The crowd is hushed, trembling between awe and fear, waiting for the gavel to fall. The judge remains standing. His hand grips the bench, knuckles pale, but the gavel does not move. His eyes are locked on the sentinel, studying him as if the robe and the years of law on his shoulders are not enough to measure this man. The silence is thick, broken only by the faint creak of wood beneath shifting feet, the smell of sweat and old polish heavy in the air. Finally, the judge exhales, voice low but carrying. "Soldier, you were summoned here as a witness. What you have given is more than testimony. It is truth." Gasps ripple through the gallery. Crowd gasp. The defense attorney pales, mouth open but no words spilling out. The veteran in the wheelchair closes his eyes and lets out a trembling breath, his hand rising again in salute. The judge continues, each word sharp as a verdict. "I could hold you in contempt. I could strip this chamber of what you brought into it. But contempt belongs to those who mock sacrifice, not to those who defend it." His gavel lowers, not in anger, but in recognition. This court will record your silence, your presence, and your words, not as disruption, but as testimony. The room exhales all at once. Mothers weep openly, fathers bow their heads, veterans salute with hands that shake from age but not from doubt. The boy in the gallery leans forward, whispering in awe, "Mama." The judge bowed to him. His mother squeezes his hand, tears in her eyes. "No, son, he bowed to what he guards." Reporters scribble furiously, cameras clicking, camera shutters snapping, as they capture the moment that will blaze across every screen by morning. a federal judge rising in silence before a tomb guard in full uniform. The guard does not nod. He does not smile. He pivots on his heel. Rifle snapping, boots cracking marble. His cadence resumes as though the courtroom itself is now an extension of the black mat. Each strike of his boots echoes through the chamber, rolling out the doors into the night, boots clicking steady. He walks through the gallery. No one breathes. Spectators rise as one, not by command but by reverence. A congregation standing in the presence of something eternal. The veteran salutes. The boy salutes. Even the judge from his high bench raises a hand in solemn respect. The courthouse doors open. Cold night air rushes in, carrying the smell of leaves and faint smoke from distant chimneys. Doors opening, night air rushing. The sentinel steps into the dark, stars above sharp as bayonets, lamps casting his shadow long across the stone steps. His rifle gleams under the lamplight, his cadence unbroken, his oath intact. Legend sears into the night's memory. A lone guard in full dress, shadow long and eternal across courthouse stone. The judge visible behind him, standing in silent salute. Cameras flash, capturing an image that will travel across the world. Law bowing its head before sacrifice. Outside, a distant bugle sounds from some unseen soldier's funeral, bugle echoing faintly in the night. Its notes weave with the rhythm of the guard's boots until courthouse and cemetery feel like one ground, one vow. And the narration closes with words carved in silence. Law commands obedience, but sacrifice commands reverence. And on this night, the world saw which one endures. If this story moved you, don't let it stop at silence. Share it so others remember that sacrifice commands reverence beyond law. Subscribe for more untold stories of honor, duty, and the guards who carry eternity on their shoulders. And add your reflection in the comments, because every word left here joins the echo of remembrance.